Very good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
All ready? Set?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Very good morning.
सोनिया मैम अभी 19 पार्टिसिपेंट्स हुए हैं, थोड़ा और 2 मिनट्स वेट करते हैं, देन विल स्टार्ट. A very good morning to all of you. So welcome to the 5th day of induction program. Today we have with us Miss Sonia Behel, and she will be talking about speaking skills. She will be dealing up in the practical aspect of the speaking skills. So Sonia ma'am, can we start now? Sonia ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Over to you, Sonia ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We will talk about speaking skill today. What exactly do you mean by speaking skill? Can somebody tell me? Can anybody tell me? You have already done the this portion, I think. What is speaking skill?
Ma'am, formulating our thoughts into words from our own vocabulary and then telling it to someone else.
Yeah, very good. It's basically that only what we are doing. And it is very, very important to develop this skill in our students, as it is one of the fundamental language skill. And this is the only way we can communicate information with others. When someone asks how well a person can function in a second language, the question is, how well do you speak? That is the main thing which is required. So it is the ability to speak well which best represents our proficiency in another language. As teachers, however, we must be mindful that speaking involves more than simply using words to articulate what we are thinking. And there is more at play than simply asking students to say the words that they know. We have to be very particular that the students should start speaking in our classes. Unless until they speak out, they will not learn the language well. What does speaking involve? Its mechanics are pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. We find generally that children cannot pronounce the words well because they're not speaking out. And grammar obviously is very poor initially, but we keep on telling the students and helping them out, then it improves gradually. Only by speaking it does. And we try to make them write and things like that. It does help, but speaking is the best way we can help them grammatically also, and their vocabulary also develops more. Uh, in the functions, transaction and interaction is very important. The social and cultural rules is like turn taking. One person is speaking, the other person has to wait till till the first person has stopped speaking. The rate of speech, it has to be such that the other person can understand. The length of pauses between speakers, relative roles of the participants, who has to speak what, has to be very clear. Body language, generally gestures, posture, rise and fall of voice. These things are very important while speaking. Oral language genres. Similar to the process of speaking, also can fall into three broadly defined genres. Unidirectional includes speeches or narratives which children generally participate in. Semi-bidirectional. This means semi-bidirectional include presentations and interviews in which there is sort of uh, interaction between two people. Bidirectional, in this genre of oral language, the interaction between two or more participants will be two ways. And it is important that as teachers, we prepare our students to be able to function in all of the above genres. Don't you think this is required? The major goals of teaching speaking should be to promote communicative efficiency. Unless and until the child can communicate effectively, it is just not right that we cannot say that they have reached the goal of teaching and speaking, generally speaking. To help students to avoid confusion in the message due to faulty pronunciation, grammar, or vocabulary, and to observe the social and cultural rules that apply in each communication situation. To enable the students to use language in authentic and real life situations, teachers can use activities that combines language input, structural output, and communicative output. What types of activities we can have in this? Mainly there are four: drills or linguistically structured activities, performance activities, participation activities, and observation activities. Can any of you tell me how are these different from each other? Any one of you? Activities to promote speaking skill. Complete the following activities in 4 types as given by language expert. This does promote the speaking skill. Change the title, change the story, predict the story. In this, we are all speaking. Favorite characters. We ask the children what were the favorite characters, whom we liked most in the story, and why did we do it. And speaking about the perception of various characters in the chapter. Generally, when we are teaching a chapter, we ask the children themselves to tell us about the characters. Role play. Role play is also done. Dialogue preparation and presentation on a particular text. Radio show podcasting is also done. Puppet shows can also be done. Debate can also be held. And showing a structure, and students have to repeat with change of noun, verbs, etc. every time. That is also done to make change the tenses also can be done. Gap activities can be given. Discussions on various topics can be done. Observing a movie and mimic any character can be done. All these promote speaking skills. Main things to remember is you have to break the silence. Now I'm facing the same silence with you all. Nobody is speaking up. Motivate the students' initiatives. Whatever little they try to speak, we should try and make them speak more. Communicative teaching. Basically, we have to focus more on communication rather than just delivering. Provide appropriate feedback, but don't interrupt communication in between. If you find that the child is not speaking up to the mark or there is some mistake, we don't have to correct it there and then, because that will make the child feel scared in the next uh, occasion when that child has to speak out. Welcome mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes and they should be very well taken. Focus on both accuracy and fluency. Gradually, this has to be done very gradually. We cannot expect our children to turn over night into English speakers, but yes, gradually accuracy and fluency has to be maintained. Use various strategies to encourage speaking in the classroom and provide opportunities for them to speak. Connect with the students. Basically, if we are not connected with the students, they will not speak out. Only when there is a good connection between us, only then the children speak out. There are useful resources and links for this, which you can I'll give this on your this thing WhatsApp, so that you can obviously use them. There are ebooks for speaking skill. Practice makes perfect. English conversation. Conversation skills for the shy. Listening is an act of love. Now we all know there are 4 speaking skills: vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, and fluency. What do you think should be first focused on? Can anybody tell me? Samriddhi, what about you?
Vocabulary, grammar, and the other two were?
Pronunciation and fluency. You can't see this?
The slide is still on ebooks for speaking skill.
Slide is, just a minute, I just.
Okay, ma'am.
Can you see now? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. So, what do you think we should concentrate first on?
Ma'am, it would be vocabulary.
Yeah, because if the
Because
children, Mm,
if the child would not have words to speak, क्या बोलेंगे?
definitely that child will not be able to speak at all.
There are some times when it happens with us also, and we can't, remember the particular word which has to be used. And no matter how fluent we are or how good grammar we have, we are not able to convey our message, and it left us to look like clowns.
Yeah, definitely. That is always there. And grammar is also equally important, I suppose, because if we do not put the words in the right order, I think it's hard to understand also.
Yes,
And then comes pronunciation and fluency. I think that. I don't know about you all.
absolutely, ma'am.
What do you think, Sunita, about this? Sunita, are you there?
यस मैम मैम
हाँ
एक्चुअली मैं ये पूछना चाहती आई वांट टू नो कि जो बुक्स आपने नेम्स बताए कि वो अवेलेबल हो जाएंगी नेट पे
हाँ जी डेफिनेटली
थैंक्स मैम
and they're very good. You'll really learn from them a lot. Even even at this age, I'm revising all of these because it's really helpful. You have to keep up with the times, you know.
ठीक
पहले
है
हम क्या
ओके
करते थे? We used to generally just speak out, and the children used to note it down. They did not have any access to the mm, net, so they couldn't, communicate as well. But nowadays, children are more smart, and they are doing it themselves. They are trying to get the things from the net themselves. So we have to be equally good at it. The main objectives are to develop teachers' ability to teach speaking and to develop students' oral proficiency. In speaking skill, we have to develop the oral proficiency. How do we teach speaking? If we take a simple present simple tense, think about an activity which how can we teach speaking?
वी कैन गिव some talks as like जैसे you talk about your mothers you tell or your father sisters about them
Yes.
and
Mm,
family members your friends your favorite teachers some lines they can speak
yeah, but will it be present simple?
Ma'am,
yeah
we
ma'am
can ask them about their
Yes, their day routine. Very good. Anything else?
Whatever it is happening in the class at that moment.
Yes, whatever is happening in the class at that moment. Very nice.
ma'am their habits.
Their habits. Yes, because present simple is very easy to teach initially, and they know it also because they're speaking generally in present simple only. They hardly use the past tense. initially. Teachers have to provide authentic practice that prepares students for real life communication situations. We have to make our students practice speaking, because in the long run, if they have to speak, they should not be confined to our school level only on books and topics we are doing in the class. They should be properly guided to speak wherever possible. The context should be different, but they should know how to speak. They have to help the students develop the ability to produce grammatically correct, logically connected sentences that are appropriate to specific contexts, and to do so using acceptable, that is comprehensible pronunciation. Whatever we are teaching, the pronunciation has to be given to the children's. They have to be made to pronounce it all the time, so that they know exactly how it is pronounced and how it is said in the sentences. So we have to teach vocabulary, then we have to teach grammar, then teach pronunciation as well as intonation, equip them with everything they need to speak confidently and fluently. Provide real life situations. Teachers should create a classroom environment where students have real life communication, authentic activities, and meaningful tasks that promote oral language. This can occur when students collaborate in groups to achieve a goal or to complete a task. Get real. We have to give them such situations. Can anybody give me some example on this? Ritesh sir, can I have something from you? Ritesh sir?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Yeah. Could you give me some real life situation where we can try and make the
Ma'am,
students
sure. We can create a market situation like when a student is going to buy vegetables from the market. We can have that communication like a seller and a buyer. We can make two students stand up and claim oneself as a buyer and one as a seller, so that communication can take place. Because more often students go market with their elder ones to buy vegetables and all those necessary stuff. So we can create a situation like that.
Yes, very good. That's a very nice activity. And we've been doing that for quite some time. And we make groups of students, and some of them are selling, and some of them are communicating how to buy things and bargain. That really helps, because that's a real life situation. Thank you so much. So, anybody else? Tarundeep? Tarundeep, ma'am?
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Could you tell me of something to do with real life situation?
Uh,
Any other
a situation,
activity?
a situation can be given to the students regarding a play or a skit. A short skit can be performed
Like,
uh, like say from the students can perform any drama of a short form, a short skit. It may be from any movie or the drama sections that are given in the textbooks also.
yeah, definitely. So that will make it, very real to them, because then they start feeling, yeah, it is connected with their lives. If they only
Correct.
read, yeah, if they only read, then it becomes that it's something out of their context, sort of a thing.
Sometimes
So,
reading becomes monotonous and the students are not connected with that.
Yes,
While
definitely.
performing, they connect themselves to the theme or the story or the drama, whatever is there, and it gives them more experience and more knowledge of that.
Definitely. That's a very nice way because we definitely need to ask the children to speak orally. Otherwise, we cannot get to know how much they've learned also.
Exactly, ma'am.
Hmm. Activities that promote speaking, we have done two of them. Discussions. After a content based lesson, a discussion can be held for various reasons. The students may aim to arrive at a conclusion, share ideas about an event, or find solutions in their discussion groups. Before the discussion, it is essential that the purpose of the discussion activity is set by the teacher. It is very necessary that the teacher beforehand only knows what has to be discussed, and then groups are formed and the children made to discuss, and it is seen by the teacher that all the children are participating, else it is not helpful for everybody. But in groups, children do share things which they do not share when the whole class is made to answer. Don't you think that? Have you made groups in your classes?
Yes, ma'am, they do share. They open up when they are in group.
But when, the classes I was going to, the children were not made into groups. I tried my level best to have groups in the classes, and by the end of the year, certain classes did have the groups, but that too, the moment I used to get out of the class, it used to be put back, no, the same way they used to have it initially, that the teacher is teaching and the students are on the other side just listening. So we have to make the difference now. We cannot ask the students to just listen, because we don't know whether listening is really happening or not unless until we see them communicate. The teacher gives information to the learners in role play, such as who they are and what they think or feel. Thus, the teacher can tell the student that you are David, you go to the doctor and tell him what happened last night, and so on and so forth. So, you all must be doing role plays. Have you tried it out? Seema ma'am, can you listen to me? Seema ma'am? Yeah. Have you ever tried out the role plays in class?
Hello.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have done it once. Actually,
Okay, no problem. And yes, Ritesh?
ma'am, I have done it once. Actually, a day nobody of the student did the homework that I have assigned them the last day.
Hmm.
None of them did it. So I then put the monitor on the role of a teacher, and the rest of the class behaved like a student. And I told that monitor to act on the behalf of teacher and deal with the students who did not do their homework. So that was the case. I did it once.
That is very good. So that even the monitor knows how it feels if the work is not done. That's a very nice way of teaching the children uh, what you feel exactly.
Means one shoes.
We can have simulations also. Simulations are very similar to role plays. But what makes simulations different than role plays is that they're more elaborate in simulations. Students can bring items to the class to create a realistic environment. For instance, if a student is acting as a president, he or she wears a suit and brings a microphone to deliver his speech. Role plays and simulations have many advantages. Such activities motivate the students and increase the self confidence of hesitant students also. Don't you think this is right? Even if a small thing like they're made to wear a cap or just hold something in their hands which feels like they are speaking on a this thing microphone or something like that, so it makes them really feel that they are doing something different, and simulations really make a lot of difference and help the children to communicate better. They
Yes,
get into
ma'am.
the role. Anybody has tried it out?
Ma'am, I seen an example of this, like
Okay.
mini parliament.
Hmm.
The students were acting like MLAs, MPs,
Okay.
whatever, and they were able to speak, and they had topics, open questions, and they were reacting like they were real politicians.
That's very nice.
Mics
Yes.
were there.
Okay.
I, I felt that it was a very good idea.
Yes.
Although it was a topic of SST,
Mm-hmm.
and the students were from 11th and 12th, but it was a nice
Yes, they
experience.
have. Yes, it is a lovely experience once you give them the opportunity to speak
Yes,
out, act like somebody like that, then they really learn. Last year, I think everybody had this sort of a simulation practice in their school because everybody was doing that in civics. I think they had some sort of a I don't know activity was there in which the DDE and all had also come to view okay, how they are doing it simulation. Then information gap. Students are supposed to be working in pairs in this information gaps. One student will have the information that other partner does not have, and the partners will share their information. Information gap activities serve many purposes, such as solving a problem or collecting information. Also, each partner plays an important role because the task cannot be completed if the partners do not provide the information the others need. So, you have to make it possible that there is some information gap and they have to communicate to get to fill that gap so that the whole thing is there with them. These activities are effective because everybody has the opportunity to talk extensively in the target language, and we have to make sure that the children are speaking in the target language, that is English in our case. I don't think so. I've never tried this, sorry. But has anybody tried it? None of you?
ma'am.
I have it.
Yes?
I said, no, ma'am, I have not tried that.
Yeah, even I have never tried it, but we will try it now. Because I read about it and I thought I'll share it with you all. Then there is, yeah?
I said, absolutely, ma'am, we'll try it.
Yeah, we will all try it. Then there is a brainstorming activity. On a given topic, students can produce ideas in a limited time. Depending on the context, either individual or group brainstorming is effective and learners generate ideas quickly and freely. The good characteristics of brainstorming is that the students are not criticized for their ideas. So students will be open to sharing new ideas. It is very necessary to encourage them to speak more and more, because otherwise they are not, if even if a small thing is criticized, they will not be able to come up with new things. So it is very good if we try to encourage them all the time, so that they lose the inhibition and start speaking. At least once they start speaking, then we can, gradually uh, help them learn the proper way of speaking. So, what did you understand by brainstorming? Shweta?
Ma'am, it compel the students
Yes.
to recall the under or whatever they have read. I tried it for vocabulary.
That's very nice. That's very
Yes,
good.
ma'am. On the blackboard,
Mm-hmm.
I draw 4 lines for
Yes.
4 groups.
Hmm.
I divided my class in 4 groups and I gave all of them a letter. And
Okay.
you have to write as many words as you can. With,
Okay.
like with letter A.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And
gave them marks for the word. Whatever letter there were 7 letters, then 7 marks.
okay.
Children were very happy, ma'am. I have tried it in class 8.
Yeah, this is really good, because vocabulary is also developed like this, and they have that competitive feeling, so they learn faster. That's what I feel. And the whole group contributes, then it makes it all the more interesting for them. Because if you give it, I had done it in individual way. So then I could not get that much of a response, because I think they were a little scared whether they are writing the right words or not. So, because U and A spell sounds the same at times, no? So they were a little scared, and they did not come up with very good result. So your idea of holding in 4 groups is very good. Thank you so much. Then there is storytelling. Storytelling is really very interesting. Students can briefly summarize a tale or story they heard from somebody beforehand. They may imagine their own stories to tell their classmates. Storytelling fosters creative thinking. It also helps students express ideas in the format of beginning, development, and ending, including the characters and setting a story has to have. Storytelling, I have done a lot of storytelling in my classes, and students really enjoy, and they learn a lot also. They start speaking also after that, because I tell the story only in English, and I try to make it interesting by just using my hands. Frankly speaking, that's what I have always done. If you want, I can give you a small example of what I did in the class. Would you like that?
Yes, ma'am.
Would love to.
Okay. Once there was a boy. His name was Raju. What was his name? Raju. And he loved eating cashew nuts. Do you know what is cashew nuts? Kaju. Yes. They used to really feel so happy. He used to feel so happy when he used to see kajus. Oh my God. Ah, so tasty. And his mother, she never liked him having kajus. Oh my God, what to do? One day, his mama went to the market and told him, I'll be back in half an hour. Wow, I can have all the kajus. Hey, Mama, you better study. Don't waste your time. Okay, Mama, I will study. And the mama leaves. And this Raju, wow, he has the sight on kajus. Wow. Tasty, tasty kajus, cashew nuts. Wow. He climbs on a stool and picks up the jar, puts it on the table, opens the jar. Wow, so many cashew nuts. Oh my God. He picks up a handful and puts it in the mouth. Wow, what a nice feeling. Another handful and into the mouth. Wow, so tasty. I'll take one more handful. Oh, yes. And he eats it. Wow. Satisfied, very satisfied. And he then closes the jar, puts it back from where he found, and sits in front of the TV and puts it on. Nothing is interesting on the TV. Oh no, I'll have to pick up my books. And he picks up his book. The minute he starts reading, ding dong, ding dong. Oh my God, Mama's come back. He goes and opens the door. And gradually he's feeling pain in the stomach. Oh my God. Mama's come and my stomach is also paining. He opens the door. Mama says, how much have you read? Have you finished your work? No, Mama. I'm trying. I'm trying now. Better finish your work. Yes, Mama, but my stomach is paining. Mama, please, my stomach has started paining very badly, Mama. Mama. It's paining very badly, Mama. What do I do, Mama? What did you eat? Did you eat anything? Yes, Mama. I had few cashew nuts. Cashew nuts? I told you not to have them. I know you eat lots of them together. No, Mama. I just had a few. Come, I'll take you to the doctor. Mama takes him to the doctor. The doctor makes him sit on the chair and Mama, Mama, I don't want injection. Mama, please, Mama, please. Mama, please. Don't worry. Don't worry, baby. There is no problem. I'll just put an injection and you'll be absolutely fine. No, 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 no. Wait. Listen to the doctor, beta. You can't do without it. I will never eat cashew nuts. I will never eat cashew nuts. That was the story. So,
That was a wonderful story.
Hanji,
It was a wonderful story,
thank you.
and the way you told it, it was amazing.
Actually, the thing is, the children really enjoy it like anything when we do it in front of them, no? So they have a gala time and they just want you to tell them, and the words they learn very quickly. If you tell them a story or something like that, they tend to learn the words very fast.
Yes, ma'am.
But ma'am, I'm not sure if I would ever be able to be as expressive as you are.
No, time only will show, even initially I was a little scared, but later on, once the children start enjoying, na, then you also feel that you can do it, sort of a thing.
Okay, ma'am.
Then there is picture narration. We have this activity is based on several sequential pictures. Students are asked to tell the story taking place in the sequential pictures by paying attention to the criteria provided by the teacher as a rubric. Rubrics can include the vocabulary or structures they need to use while narrating. So you like this, you have a picture in front of you. You have to just narrate the story. One of you can do it. Any one of you?
Ma'am, if you could just enlarge the font because the picture is not really visible. I mean, what's
Okay.
written in the box is not.
Can you
Thank
see
you.
it now?
Sonia ma'am, sorry to interrupt. The session is like exceeding its go. The next session won't be able to start.
Okay, sorry,
On
sorry.
10:20. No, it's not sorry. Sorry for barging in, actually.
No, it's all right. Uh, what I can do is I'll just wrap it up in just 2 minutes, 3
Yeah, sure.
minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes,
It's like the months are given in the pictures.
yes.
Matlab, it's like that the boy had in his stomach in
Yeah.
June, and then
Mm.
it continued up to September, and he visited a doctor in September. Matlab, he ignored it till that time, and
Yes.
then maybe the doctor told him some expensive test or prescription or something like that, and he's saying that he able to afford it as it costs.
Yeah.
And then the same situation prevails till December, and finally he got admitted in hospital in January,
Hmm.
and it continued till February. Matlab, he initially overlooked his medical condition, and it got worse by the time.
Yes. Yes. Very nicely put. Thank you so much. Then we have reporting also. Before coming to class, students are asked to read a newspaper or magazine, and in class, they report to their friends what they find as the most interesting news. This can be done in class. Teachers can also ask their students to watch a specific program on a specific channel. Time of the program should be given well in advance, and then they can view that program and report, give a report on it. Then students could be asked to report back what they have seen and express their views concerning what was presented in the program or a cartoon film. We have a picture description also. Students describe what is in the picture. They discuss the picture with their whole group. You give them a picture in a group and they discuss it, and then a spokesperson for each group describes the picture to the whole class. This activity fosters the creativity and imagination of the learners, as well as their public speaking skills. It could also be used as springboard for a whole class discussion. I'm doing it a little fast because the time is up. So then we can have speeches also. Teachers can ask their students to prepare a speech about one of the topics that were discussed in class. They may also ask them to prepare a speech about a special event or occasion. In fact, lots of students enjoy such activities as they allow them a great deal of freedom to express their ideas and show their talent. Of course, delivering the speech should be done in class itself. There are lots of activities that promote speaking, like discussions, role plays, simulations, information gap, brainstorming, storytelling, interviews, story completion, reporting, picture narrating, picture describing, and speeches. Thank you. It's been lovely talking to you all. I hope I hope it's of some help to you on whatever has been told to you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Absolutely,
Sonia
ma'am.
ma'am.
It's a pleasure,
It
Nalini.
was really a very nice session, and I think we all have learned some practical skills, practical aspect how to develop speaking skills among students. So, for the next session, we have with us Miss Priyanka Sehrawat. Priyanka ma'am, are you here? Yes, yes, she is here. So, without taking any break, we can directly start the session so that we can finish the session on time. So, Priyanka ma'am will also be, no, she will be dealing on reading skills. So, Priyanka ma'am, you can start the session, and Priyanka ma'am will be dealing on the practical aspect of reading skills, and she will be sharing few activity with you and how can you develop reading skills among students. So, over to you, Priyanka ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I can see your thumbs. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hello and good morning to all. As you can all see, we have already laid the welcome mat, and seeing you guys respond so well has put a smile on our faces. So, thank you all for being so quick and responding with the thumbs up. It's always wonderful to see such prompt responses. That brings me to thinking, isn't it amazing how when we see a visual text, we automatically encode and decode written alphabets, symbols to sounds, blend them mentally, comprehend them, and respond. Sounds such a complicated process, isn't it? But why does it feel so easy? It's just like riding a bicycle. Looks difficult and complicated initially, but once you get a hang of it, it's a cakewalk. It becomes spontaneous, automatic, and easy with practice. With that, with that thought, I am Priyanka Sherawat, and I wholeheartedly welcome you to today's reading skill practicum session. Let the neural encoding begin. And what better way to start than with the riddle? So let's start with the riddle time to stimulate your young minds and experience some intellectual humor. Here we go. Can you see my screen? Do you see the riddle time screen? If someone can unmute and tell me, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible, and the screen is also visible.
Thank you so much. So here we go. Here comes the first riddle. Sunanda ma'am, if you can unmute and read what's there on the screen. Okay, Shalu ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Riddle time.
Riddle time.
Which letter of
Yes. And we've got 3 answers. What do you think is the answer, Sunanda ma'am?
ma'am? I have no idea.
Shalu ma'am, thank you Sonal ma'am, thank you Tanvi ma'am, thank you Shweta ma'am, thank you Sudhir sir, Tarun Deep Kaur. Thank you guys. And you guys are absolutely right. The answer is C. This is just for some humor. So the answer is C, Sunanda ma'am. Do you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So do you see the next question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is just for some intellectual fun that we can have. So can you read the second one? Let's see if we can get all the answers right. Yeah, so you
What is
can
the
either
longest
unmute
word?
yourself or type. Yes. Yes, Sunanda ma'am, please carry on. What is the
What is
longest
the
word?
longest word in the English language?
Wow, wonderful. Thank you so much. And Shalu ma'am has written smiles. You think that's right? Tall. Okay, Ritesh sir says tall. Any other answers? We need the longest word in English language. Yes. Okay. So let's see what the answer is. Smiles. Because there is a mile between the two S's. With that, let's go to the third one. If anyone can unmute and read this riddle. Ritu ma'am, can you read the riddle, please? Yeah, sure, please.
What occurs twice in a week,
Yes,
once in
Shalu
a
ma'am.
year, what occurs twice in a week, once in a year, but never in a day? Ma'am, can I
Yes.
answer it?
Yeah, sure, please do.
Ma'am, it's E. Alphabet E.
It's E. Alphabet, the letter E. Wonderful. Bingo, you are right. And so many others are right. Thank you, Sonal ma'am. Thank you, Soni ma'am. Shweta, Ritesh sir, Sudhir sir. Thank you so much. You guys are absolutely right. That is the answer, the letter E. Thank you so much. With that, let's move on to the next slide. What is reading? We've talked about it. We had sessions on it. So anything that pops up in your head, you can either unmute or you can write it in the chat box as well. So what is reading? We've done two theory sessions on reading before. Okay. So any responses, either in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and tell us what reading is according to you. Ritu ma'am, would you like to try?
Can I, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Seeing certain symbols which relate to
Uh-huh.
our previous knowledge, and then understanding meaning for what is being said behind them.
Thank you so much. That's so wonderful. Exactly right. And Ritesh sir says reading is comprehending the text in the same feel as it is desired to be. Thank you, Ritesh sir. Thank you so much. Can I request either Samriddhi ma'am or Ritesh sir to read this next poem that we have on reading? Because we've done a lot of theory talk onto what reading is and different activities we've been through. So I will request either one of you to read this poem. Anyone?
It's
Okay, ma'am, I'm
independent
doing.
or with a partner. Please, okay, go on.
Yes, sir. Yes, Ritesh, sir.
It's quite allowed. It's practicing strategies. It's learning vocabulary. It's building confidence. It's feeling emotions. It's connecting to the text. Should I go ahead?
Yeah. The entire thing.
It's looking closely at words. It's
Wow.
predicting what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's sharing with others. It's summarizing from start to finish. It's analyzing accents. It's proving and giving evidence. It's looking for details. It's fun and enjoyable. Reading is understanding.
Does it sum it all, Ritesh, sir?
Ma'am?
It says it all, right?
Yeah.
It says us all. Everything that we've been talking about is something that it says. Okay, so we all read it. Anybody who can tell us there was a spelling error in that poem? If any of you could recall and tell me what that was. And this is something that happens, we read it and sometimes words are interchanged or misplaced or it's a typographical error and it just skips. Anybody, if anybody's noticed, I need to go back, I think, for that.
Closely,
Anybody? Yes?
closely.
Closely. Yes. But see, so many of us, only one of us could see that. So this is called as typoglycemia. This is a newly coined word, and if I found it very interesting, so I just wanted to introduce it here. This is basically a cognitive process, and it involves in reading a text. So the principle is that the readers can comprehend the text despite spelling errors and misplaced letters in the words. And this is what happened. This is because we read the whole letter. And that whole theory of reading letters as whole about sight words, star words, and phonetics is something that comes up here. So introducing sight words along with phonetics is a great way to approach reading. And that is something that's proved. So we shouldn't be like stuck on to I'll just do phonetics. I won't do sight words. Or just I'll be doing, star words or sight words and I'll teach them through. Yes, students do amazingly well and they read wonderfully well if you introduce sight words and star words. They read the whole sentence. But phonetics, phonetically, understanding and decoding the words is something that is equally important. So, with that, some of the ways of reading, we've talked about a lot of ways. So, if you could recall any interesting way of reading that we've done in the previous classes. Any reading way, if you can recall? Yes? The way we read. Okay, it's okay. Let's explore then. If you can't recall. Okay, this is the first one. What do you see? If we have Shruti ma'am, if she can hear us, Shruti ma'am, I request you or Ritu ma'am to tell us what's popped on the screen. What do you see?
It's the children are reading a storybook, I think, or a
Yes.
picture book, probably, if they are
Mhm.
younger children.
Yes. And how are they doing it? They're doing it together or
Yeah, they are doing together,
they're
doing it
doing it together?
together. Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So this is reading aloud in unison with the whole class. So this kind of a reading is called as choral reading. Have you all heard of this before? If yes, you can put a thumbs up in the chat box. Choral reading. Reading in unison with the whole class or group of students. Here the teacher and the students, they read at the same speed, the same passage at the same time. So this, why does, yes, thank you so much, ma'am. Why does this kind of a reading should take place in the class? Because this will help build students' fluency, their self-confidence and motivation. Because students, they read aloud together. Students who may not, ordinarily feel self-conscious or nervous about reading, they kind of build their confidence because uh, they are learning to do it with everybody else, and they do not see, okay, I am making an error here, so everybody is looking at me. Places where they make errors at gets combined with other people's voices, and they're learning in that way. So with that, let's move on to the next type. What does this say? Ritu ma'am or Supriya ma'am or anybody else who can unmute and tell us what this is it
Uh,
different from the picture that we saw?
Yes, ma'am, it's different
Yes.
from the picture we just saw because in the earlier picture, everyone was reading simultaneously at the same time. In this
Yes.
particular picture,
Yes.
one student will read and then the others will repeat after him. Exactly the same way it happens in the morning assembly. First they sing and then the entire group sings. So in this particular picture, one student will speak first and then the others will follow.
Supriya, ma'am, that's such a great example that you've quoted here. Can you recall as to what this kind of a reading is called?
Mm, I don't know, ma'am. I really don't know the word as to what to
Echo.
call it.
Have you heard of echo reading before?
Yes, yes, yes. Ego reading, yes.
Yeah, see, yes, wonderful. And that example was wonderful, Supriya ma'am. Thank you so much. So this is echo reading. This is where the teacher will read, then the students will repeat the phrases. Both choral reading and echo reading are called support reading, which can be used during reading to help improve fluency. Again, I'm just telling you all that it actually helps improve fluency, comprehension, and oral skills. Once this procedure of these readings have been established, the teacher can kind of, vary the readings by having half of the class read one sentence with her and then half of the read the next sentence on their own and so on. So you can always play with both these kind of readings, choral reading and echo reading. With that, let's move on to the next one. Anybody please unmute and read what do you see? Supriya ma'am, Arun, Tanvi ma'am, Shruti ma'am, anybody? Ritesh sir,
Okay, I will go.
Yes.
thank you.
So it's written first you read till, then I will
Mhm.
read. So it's like turn taking. The first person is reading up till a point, and then the second person is taking over from there.
Wonderful. I really liked that word, turn taking. I was going to say reading with a partner, but I find your word much more appropriate. Thank you, Shruti ma'am. Yes, this is very much self explanatory, and what she just said, it is a partner read sort of thing. This, what will this do? It will develop peer learning and collaboration skills, and they'll be able to help each other. They'll understand we do not laugh at people who are not able to read well. We are there, we are here to support, assist, help, and collaborate. And this is that builds them up. The next one. Anybody, please.
I'm sorry
What
to
does
interrupt.
this
What is the terminology for that?
So I really liked what Shruti said. You can either call it partner read, but what Shruti said is something that I really liked. Turn taking. See, we shouldn't
it
go
may
with
be
these
relay reading, like
relay reading.
as
Wow,
happens in a
sir.
relays.
Ritesh sir, that's amazing. Relay reading, RR. And I think your name is RR as well. Ritesh Ranjan, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Relay reading. That's something that I'm going to put in the next session. Relay reading. I really liked that name. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And these words, when they're catchy, when we go into the classes, we're like, okay, guys, we'll be doing relay reading today. And the kids, they're like, oh, wow, this is something that I really want to do. Catchy words actually help a lot. Thank you so, sir. Can you read what's there on the screen now?
I love to read on my own. That's like
Yes.
self reading, like while sitting at home and having a
Yeah.
self study routine. That way.
Yes, yes, wonderful. Independent reading, self reading, wonderful. This refers to a child's reading of the text on their own without any help or with minimum to no assistance from adults. So, this is what independent reading is. Now, reading in a classroom. When we talk about independent reading, there are certain more fun ways that can be introduced because reading, again, when you read in a class, we start with round robin reading. Have you all heard of this word before? Solo reading, Tanvi ma'am says. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that word. It's so interesting. People, you guys are coming up with such interesting and great words. Thank you so much. Round robin reading. Have you all heard of this before? Okay, so now round robin reading has been a classroom staple for over 200 years. We all have tried this in our classes. Students read from one common text. One student does independent reading. Then where he halts, the other one follows. So very much like one after the other. So this is how round robin reading goes. With round robin reading, we can try another types like say popcorn reading. Now, what is popcorn reading? In popcorn reading, a student reads for a time and then instead of the second person standing up and starting from where he finished, which was there in the round robin reading, here what happens is he calls out popcorn. He says popcorn out loud before selecting other students' name in class to read. So it's like, nominating someone. So if, say, Samriddhi ma'am, you were to read. You're reading, we are all in a class and you're reading and you have to call out popcorn and volunteer somebody else. Whose name would you volunteer? Okay, Supriya ma'am, your turn. Say popcorn and somebody else's name. Just volunteer anybody else's name.
Popcorn, Shruti ma'am.
Oh, wow. Shruti ma'am, your turn. But
Popcorn.
I'm missing the reading part. Yes, ma'am. Supriya ma'am. We didn't hear you. Shruti ma'am, please, once again.
Yeah. Popcorn, Ritu Tyagi, ma'am.
Popcorn. Actually, I don't remember the name. I'm so sorry.
See?
Just wait. Popcorn. Aruna Devi, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually, I have seen from the participants.
So we're getting to know each other. This is a great warming up exercise. The kids, they'll also get to know each other. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we have popsicle reading. Popsicle ice cream stick reading is also something that you can call. What happens is you take ice cream sticks or popsicle sticks, you write like you write your student's name on it or on the popsicles and then you place it in a box or a can. Then you draw out those popsicle and whosoever's name comes on it, that person reads. So this is again very interesting because the students, they pay attention. They do not know abhi ma'am kiska naam lene wali hai. All of a sudden she can take anybody's stick out and there is no like ek ke baad ek wala reading ki okay, this is, I am sitting next to her so I have to be pay attention and once my turn is over she wouldn't call me again. So it's something that is really interesting and keeps the students attentive throughout the class. Then there is one more type of reading. This again I found very interesting. This is called touch and go reading or tap the next reader. So now what happens in this is when you're having a circle time or you take them to the ground or even you can do it in the class also. What happens here is you need to go and tap on the person who you want to read next. Okay, so where the one who's finished reading can go round the room and tap anybody whom he wants to be next to read. And then we also have jigsaw reading. I think this is something that Sunita ma'am has already told you about. So jigsaw reading is also something that is really interesting. So with that, let's move on to the next slide. This says, let me concentrate. It's an interesting story. So this is again very much suggestive that it is silent reading. Once that interest in reading is developed, kids like reading on their own. I know it's a long way to go, but trust me, give them books which has a lot of color, pictures, and onomatopoeias in them. They love going and reading on their own. So this is again a type of reading. Now, reading activities. If anybody can recall any reading activity that they really liked, and they're like, Acha, this activity is something that I'll be doing in my classes. So any name that pops up in your head, reading activities. Okay.
Relay reading.
Relay reading. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anything that we've done before, like in Sunita ma'am's class or the classes that we had before from there. Okay, cool. Fine. Yes, ma'am. Sunanda ma'am, sorry. Popsicle reading. Okay, this is something that we just did, but I was thinking of you all kind of recalling what happened in the theory class and any activity that we've done there before. Anyways, so sight word bingo. So this again is for beginner level emergent readers. This is our most popular sight word game. This helps us build sight vocabulary, and it takes the traditional bingo game and it kind of replaces the numbers with words. So this kind of motivates the child to read the sight words so they can play and win. So once this is introduced, they really love playing it, and it's a great way to provide repetition and strengthening, collaboration in the class. So now how it is played. So each child is given his or her own bingo card or a page with a set of words printed on a grid on the face of the page. The teacher shall call out words one at a time, and each time the child hears a word, this is on the card. That word is on the card. They cover the word with a marker, or they can kind of either cancel it out with a slant line, a diagonal line. Then the first child to complete a diagonal line or a column or a row, he will win the game, and he'll cry out bingo. But what happens is the winner, he should be able to read those sight words out loud in the entire class. And this again is giving them a practice, and this will verify that, okay, he hasn't cheated or it isn't fluke. He actually has one. So this is one game that is really interesting, and students love doing now playing bingo so as much as we do. So this is something that can be taken up in the class. Another activity that can be taken up in the class is I spy these words. Now, I spy, this is a guessing game where one player, he chooses a word and announces to the other players that, I spy with my little eyes. This is the sentence. This is the sentence structure that's given. It's written either on the board, or you kind of repeat it multiple times with the students. Then they, say it on their own. I spy with my little eyes something beginning with, say, G. So if I say I spy with my little eye something beginning with G, and I say, Ritu ma'am, can you see something that's beginning with G? What's the word that's beginning with G?
Go.
Go, yes. So you name the word, and what happens, then you cross it out or you color it. So now you can see under in you see red written, under go you see blue written, under two you see yellow written, and under C you see green written. So wherever you find the word, you say it loud, and then you color it with that color coded crayon or sketch pen, or if it's a pencil, then with that. And then you can even ask them to count it out. So ma'am, how many goes do you see in this? How many goes do
Go,
you see?
ma'am.
Somebody?
There are
Yes.
4 go.
There are four goals. Okay. No. It's
Now I find five.
yes. Okay. Now the next word is something that starts with an S. And how many are there?
Only one word is that is C.
Only one. Only one. Okay. Okay. So Nanda ma'am, you say only one word. Yes. Okay, I got you. But how many times it's repeated?
Ma'am, 5 times.
See, that's wonderful how she got it. Huh? She said only the word is just one, but how many times it's been repeated? Sunanda ma'am, great. Bang on. I was about to go there. Thank you for taking me there. So it's repeated how many times, Sunanda ma'am? Sorry, I couldn't get
Ma'am,
you.
5 times.
Five times.
5.
And what color would you be coloring it with?
Ma'am, green color.
Green color, yes. Thank you so much. See, then again, if you can see, this is fluency, roll and read. So after sight words, new words, like we move on to this game. So as the name suggests, students, they'll roll the dice and read the line or the sentence and color a star each time you are able to read the sentence. Now, there are a lot of variation of this game. You can play with your partner or you can play in groups or you can take turns helping each other read and keep each other accountable at the same time. So this is again something that is interesting. You can go with hard, difficult words in this. You can replace this with sentences that are really hard to, words that are really hard to pronounce, sentences that are something that we want them to use in their daily lives. So this is what we can do. With that, moving on to this. Now, as the word say, as the slide projects, crunch and munch. This is a decoding strategy, and this is a site which will be shared with you on your Telegram group. So, a lot of free printables is what you can get from here. So, for bigger readers, when they come across a tricky word or difficult word, we can ask them to start by like saying the first sound of the word out loud. Then we can ask them to break the word in chunks and then try to blend them with the sounds. So by stretching it and other ways of like looking for clues, skip that word, go to the finished sentence, then try to reread or look for parts. So this is something that can be, that can make reading difficult words easier. So this is something that we'll be sharing with you. With that, let's move on to the next one. This says paper plane, or you can even call it a snowball activity. So you see a child, and what does he have in his hand? It's great to see you guys participate. Thank you so much for participating. So what do you see in his hand?
Ma'am,
Yes, some.
aeroplane.
Thank you, Sunanda ma'am. Thank you, Samriddhi ma'am. A paper aeroplane, yes. So if they're able to make paper aeroplanes, or if they have used paper, I would always suggest to make them, make use of used paper. No new papers to be used. That's why I took a picture that has a newspaper on it. So any used paper, they can either crunch it and turn it into a snowball or a paper plane. So it can be played in a number of ways, either in groups or in pairs. Students, they will fly the paper planes to matching words that are written on the newspaper. Planes can have meanings written on them, and they can fly them to the right word written about there's a hole, you see, and there's a tag on that. So there, either meaning would be written or that word would be written. So this can be used for, say, synonyms or antonyms. So this is something again which the children, they find it really interesting. So if, like, for example, word written on the plane is king, and the first circle has words like servant, old, ruler written on them. So the child will decide where will it fly, and then he just pops it there. With that, this is something that we've already done. PDIT, again, I'm saying people who've done PDIT courses, Activate Book has a lot of interesting board games, and, start trying to win, reading it out loud and speaking it out loud actually helps strengthen these skills. Let's move on to the next one, because that was something that we did earlier as well. How to prepare tea. Now, here I would like to ask you all, how do you think this can be turned into a reading activity? Any ideas how we can turn this into a reading activity? You can either write in the chat box or you can unmute yourself. Take a few seconds. Think of it. Yes,
Ma'am, hello.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, so we can ask students, first of all, how to prepare tea. So first we can have a brainstorming session in which they'll come up with the various steps of making a tea, and then we can write those phrases or words on the board, and then student can either take turn or one student can take the help of those words and tell us the whole recipe or the procedure of making a tea. So in this manner it can be turned into a reading activity.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Shruti ma'am. That's wonderful. You can even give this as jumbled and you can ask them to kind of unjumble it. Right. So thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you, Shruti ma'am. Let's move on to the next one. This is an activity for all of you. Quickly check your phone, and if you have all of this, tell us what your score is. Quickly read through this slide, and you can either type your answer. Okay, 5. Thank you, Danvi ma'am. She's just scored 5. So I think you have Diksha app. No, she has Cisco WebEx app. Okay. Oh, Sunanda ma'am, 15. Wonderful. Ritesh sir says 15. Let's see who scores the highest. Minu ma'am, 5. Samiksha ma'am, 15. Wonderful. Let's see who scores the highest. Shruti ma'am, 5. Was previous answer. Okay. Shruti ma'am, 15. Thank you. Tarundeep, 5. Supriya 15, Shweta 15. Oh wow, we have a lot of 15s in the group. Anybody 20? 15.
I think there are 10 points for of 3. If there is 10 points for each, then I will score more.
Oh, 10 for each, ma'am. 10 for each. So how much will you score,
Okay,
ma'am?
ma'am. Then I got 50.
50.
Oh, sorry. 20 plus 15, that is 35.
35. Wow, 35. Shruti
35,
ma'am
ma'am.
says 35. Sangeeta ma'am says 25. Wow. Wow, that's amazing. 35. Yes, 35. Oh, we have a lot of 35. So you guys are the winner who have 35. Anybody more than 35? Okay, 20. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So this is something that we can take up in our classrooms. Like you ask them, what's in your bag? Or if they're following a particular timetable, if they've learned something. This again, questions or the points or the lines can be changed and turned into an activity that kids actually love. And they'll be like, okay, next time I'm going to be scoring more. How do I do that? I need to include all of this. So this is again something which can very much be taken to our classrooms. This says toss the ball, toss the story ball. Now you see, this activity is about choosing. No. This is kind of, there's a ball and either you. Yes, ma'am. I know. 11. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to wind up as much as possible. So this is a passage. You take a ball, and as the picture suggests, throw the ball, whatever comes on the top. You ask the students about that question. And this is something that can be played in a group. So, this activity is something that kids love playing in their classes. With that, let's move to the spin game. Sunanda ma'am, we'll start with you. Tell me when I stop spinning. Should I stop spinning, Sunanda ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I stop. Okay, so what does it say? Where does the arrow point?
Read the passage by skipping the words starting with S.
Yes. So instead of a passage, sorry, I've taken a tongue twister because I knew we would be falling short of time. So this is a tongue twister. This is not a passage, but this is something that we can do with a passage. So you have to read this tongue twister and you have to skip the word S. So how would you go about it? Yes, Sunanda ma'am. Anybody would like to read? This is, I know it's challenging.
Sorry, I was reading, but I was unmute. Sorry,
Oh, sorry.
mute.
Okay.
Ma'am, should I?
Yeah, please.
By, the, are,
No,
I.
no, no. No, ma'am, no, ma'am. You say, you do not say
Okay.
she, but you say he.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah.
He, else, shells, by the, sure,
You do
the.
not S again. Sure, no, it's.
Okay, ma'am. Some.
No,
Sorry.
but you're doing wonderful. You're doing so wonderful. It's so tricky. And I'm not able to do it. I was like, okay, how do you pronounce it without the S? You're doing wonderful,
Okay,
Sunanda.
ma'am. Let me try thrice.
Yeah.
P, L, E.
Yes.
The, hell.
Yes.
He, L,
Yeah.
hell. I am your. Oh, if he is, he, L, hell,
Yes.
whore, then I am your, he, L, E, hell.
Wonderful, Sunita ma'am. A big round of applause. That was the most difficult part that I'd added. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, I said Sunanda. Didn't I say Sunanda?
I heard it.
Oh, no. Sorry. So that was wonderful, Sunanda ma'am. Thank you so much. And now, Samriddhi ma'am, your turn. We are just doing one more and then we'll be moving on to the next one. Thank you, Samriddhi ma'am. She says cool. Thank you, Sonal ma'am. Okay. So read the passage out loud thrice. Samriddhi ma'am, Sonal ma'am, any of you would like to try reading it out loud thrice?
Can I?
Yeah, ma'am, please.
She sells by the seashore. The she sells are seashells, I'm sure. So if she says she sells by the seashore, then I'm sure she sells seashore shells.
No, wonderful. We are short of time, and Meenu ma'am is kind of keeping, she's pointing it out. So thank you so much, Samriddhi ma'am. That was wonderful, and this is something that is interesting. Kids love reading such things, and we can then, turn it into a passage, or you can ask them to read something from the text. With that, let's move on to the next one. Thank you so much, Samriddhi ma'am. This, as you can see, again, this is a sorting game, and you put cups with names like optimistic, pessimistic, insensitive, and give them very small stories or passages or any text or narratives that have these values or these things in them, and the child will sort them out and put them in the right. um, yes, thank you, ma'am. She says, thank you, Sangeeta, ma'am. Very interesting. So yes, this again is an interactive game. They love reading. They'll read it out loud, or they'll read it quickly, and they'll put it in the right box, in the right cup. This sorting activity can be done in pairs or in groups, or can be done individually as well. The next one is this: guess the word link. And as the name suggests, guessing. Yeah, so we have pawn, horse, queen, and knight. So any of you?
It is for chess.
It is for chess. Yes, wonderful. See, so this is hidden. The moment you tap on the next one, it says chess. Here, this one. Guess the character. This is from class 10. Spins without feet, stammers, has poker marks, Slimpleton, dumb cow. What will this be?
Sulekha.
What's the answer?
Sulekha, ma'am. Sulekha.
Sulekha? No. Is it Sulekha?
Ma'am, yes, Bholi or Sulek.
Yes, it's Boli or Sulekha. I just wanted to see if you're giving us the right answer. Yes, wonderful. This is from the chapter Bholi. So if you're asking about the chapter, you can ask them which chapter does this link to, or you can talk about what character is this. So with that, read and recall. I will be giving you exactly 3 seconds. Read what's written here. then this will be vanished. I'll hide these words off. So 3, 2, 1. I'm hiding them all and we'll be resetting them. If you are able to recall what the words were. What was the first word that was there
Spell.
in the first box? Yes, ma'am? Sorry,
Misspell.
Sunanda ma'am, yes? Yes, it was misspell. Wonderful. The second word?
Weird.
Weird. Okay. Third one?
Ma'am, handkerchief.
Handkerchief. Yes.
Sparrow.
And sparrow. Wow. Yes. We just left with one. I gave a difficult one, especially for this. Yeah, what was that? Anybody else who can remember what that word was? It started with a G.
Google.
Yeah,
Ma'am, it was a different word.
yes. Yeah, that's why I put it out there. I wanted. Yes, Ruby ma'am. Yes, Ruby ma'am. You're right. Google the Gook. Yes, that is the word. Yes. So congratulations, all y'all did well. This is something that we can do with the text also. So if they're reading, this activity was told by Sunita ma'am as to you give them time and then you time it as to where the child stopped, where did he read, or what were the new words that were introduced. So this again, downpour, crooks. Which chapter is this from? Locus, amiable.
Letter to God, I think.
Yes.
A letter to
Right.
God.
Yes. To God. And then you kind of hide them all,
Letter to God.
ask them to
Lencho.
write it. Yes. Lenjo. Yes. And then you reset it. This again is an activity that kids they find very interesting. Then you have close read. Here in the first read, the students they read and annotate. This is again to help them read. For students with difficult passages, this is something that actually helps a lot. And you can always keep graphic organizers handy because they're reading, they're annotating, and then they're thinking, and then quickly they'll write. Then they talk with the partner. In the second read, the teacher will read, students they will listen, they think, they write, they talk. And in the third one, again, they will listen and watch. Because here the teacher reads and she will annotate. So they'll be able to, make notes. Okay, this is what I skipped. This is where I was wrong. Or this is where I did good. This is where I absolutely am right. Then in the fourth read, students, they reread to find answers and evidences. They respond in writing, citing evidences from the text. So that's all. The resources that we took all this from was Pinterest, Google sources, Technologia is where we took the slides from. Somebody was asking me that about, and monster book activities. So thank you so much, Abing. Thank you to each and every one of you for your participation and once again for the feedback form. I am Priyanka Shairawat and we did reading skill practical today. And as the slide reads, reading gives us some place to go when we have to stay where we are. Uh, I hope you've enjoyed being on this educational journey as much as I did. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Priyanka.
Thank you.
It was a very nice session, and I hope all of you must have enjoyed it. So, thank you, Priyanka ma'am and Meenu ma'am, for such a good support. And it's 11:10 right now, and we will be meeting sharp at 11:30. And before going for the break, let me remind you once again the participants whose name are there not in